Welcome patrons! Today let's talk about something strange and something you might not know about. The grim anatomy. About 3/4 of the way through World of Thedas Volume 2 and starting on page 238 is an image of a nug skull surrounded by odd writing. It's shown without much context and only a small sentence per picture explaining what it is. And because it's so short, here is literally everything on it with pictures. In 916 Dragon, a strange book was recovered during a University of Orlais expedition into the uncharted section of the Western Approach. The book is written in an invented script by an unknown author, apparently on the subject of animal physiology. The author of this book, dubbed The Grim Anatomy by its finders, dissects various creatures using unorthodox methods. The resulting diagrams illustrate in great detail how nugs, giants, wyverns, and others look on the inside. Careful study is paid to the eyes of the nug. Based on the drawing and limited deciphering of the text, the author seems all but obsessed with understanding what animals see and how this might differ from our own perception of reality. In later pages of the Grim Anatomy, the author tears a giant's eye straight from its socket. If the eye is the window through which it crawls, then where in the skull does it hide, they wonder. It likely refers to a demon attempting to possess the beast. It is widely believed that the Grimm's anatomy focus is on demonic possession, specifically how a demon, itself a tangible being, can enter into the mind of another and manipulate it. Here the author observes the motor skills of a possessed wyvern. It is not wearing the creature's skin, the notes read, it has become the creature, its mind, its senses, its blood. The last pages of the Grim Anatomy are largely unreadable, torn, and singed. It's as if someone attempted to destroy the book. What little can be made out speaks of rot and emptiness. The accompanying diagrams are bizarre, no longer resembling the physiology of any known animal, but instead a mess of overlapping and interconnected geometric shapes. So now that we're all on the same page, a few takeaways. The name of the book seems like a reference to Grey's Anatomy, which, besides the terrible TV show, is an 1850s book on human anatomy, and apparently newer editions are also released and updated. The sigil press. On one page, what looks like an illustrated version of the sigil press from Mark of the Assassin, or that keymaker in the Emerald Graves. Why was that in there? It really just doesn't match with the rest of what's going on in these pages. Whoever wrote this, they had resources. Going through the pictures of the book, there's what looks like a lot of gold leafing. That's probably extremely expensive, and someone who's just doing on their own probably wouldn't waste a lot of gold just to, do research. How old is it? If it was found in the Western Approach in uncharted territory, it could be older than the Second Blight, making it perhaps over 800 years old. There is a lot of writing in the book, and to be honest, I'm too stupid to figure out what it means. It curves in weird ways, it's hard to tell where one word begins and one ends, and it might not even supposed to be read in the first place. It does seem to give you clues. The first image of the book has a small writing that points to a part of the nug, and I took this to mean ear, and then tried to go from there, and honestly, I did not get much farther than that. So for now, this is a mystery that will have to be put on the back burner. There's a lot of repeated imagery, lots of stars, circles connected by lines, geometric patterns. Is there some meaning behind this, or are they just decoration? What happened to the book? My first reaction was that the author could have been possessed themselves, or perhaps came to a bad run-in with a demon. But what if someone didn't want the information to come out? If this person was looking for a way to cure possession, who would want to stop that progress? Or what if the person had caught the blight? The last few pages apparently talk about rot and emptiness. Did the person become blighted? This is in the Western Approach. And why a sudden shift from animal physiology to geometric patterns? Are they magic runes? So why include this at all? All parts of the book are listed in the Inquisition section of World of Thedas Volume 2, and none of the surrounding text actually makes sense with the pictures, which is the only time this actually happens in both World of Thedas books, so this is notable in that regard. What I find so interesting about this book is that it seems to try and answer the question of what happens biologically during a possession. From the provided translation, it almost sounds like a possession is concentrated in the blood. Could there be a medical treatment for possession, and could it actually be as simple as a blood transfusion? There are more questions than answers regarding the Grim Anatomy, and perhaps they will never be answered. It just boggles my mind that this has just been sitting in our laps for over a year now and no one's really talked about it. And perhaps all it's supposed to do is just get us thinking about how possession actually works. And that, honored patrons, is sadly all that we know on the Grim Anatomy. While I'll still be working on trying to figure out what it says, I just don't have the time to make it a priority. If one of you figure it out, please let others know. I would love to make a follow-up video with more information about this thing. I know this week's video is pretty short, but next week expect a longer video on the Magister's sidereal. Do you still have lingering questions? Proof that I'm wrong? Comments about your own fan theory? Feel free to tweet me at @GilderSolid on Twitter or send a PM to user Gillen on Reddit. Daras Shiral.